Welcome to the Two Disabled Dudes podcast. We believe life is about how we react. Welcome to the Two Disabled Dudes podcast. Thank you for listening today. My name is Sean, and I'm glad you're here. Kyle, what is going on in your world today?
Sean, I got some new lights for my kitchen, and they're so awesome.
Okay.
First of all, I had a light that you would see in a garage, like over a workbench.
Okay.
And it was in my kitchen when I moved in. Ever since, I'm like, I have to replace it. I finally got around to it, so I had a contractor come in, and I got kind of recessed lighting.
Nice.
But they're Philips Hue lights. So they all hook up to this hub, and that hub hooks up to my Alexa. So I can turn the lights on and off, turn them all different colors. It's really fun.
Wow.
There's Alexa
idea
because
fun.
I said her name. So this is exactly my point. Increasingly, I've been thinking about the fact that Alexa can hear everything I say. She hears every single conversation that goes on in my place. And the only reason for Alexa is so that it can be monetized, right? There's no other reason for it. It was created by Amazon. It's not here to make my life better. I mean, okay, it does in some aspects, right? I can open the blinds and turn on the lights and all that. But it's listening to every single word I say, and the purpose is to monetize those conversations.
Sure. Yeah, so they might argue, like, no, it's to make it easy and to benefit disabled folks and convenient and blah, blah, blah. But I think you're absolutely right. Especially in the commercial world, it doesn't matter what you're talking about. Everybody exists to make money. Like, the job you do, the service you provide, at the end of the day, if you're not making money, you're probably not going to keep doing it.
Alexa would not exist if her core purpose was not to like monetize the thing she hears.
So can you give an example of how you have noticed that she's out to get your wallet?
Conversations that I have with people about a product, sunglasses or something, all of a sudden my feed is full of sunglasses. Like every time I turn around, right? Yeah. There's probably 100 different ways that it shows up for me.
That's actually, now that you say it like that, I'm thinking, man, that's not fair. Because what about FOMO? Because here you are talking about lights and your new lights, and now they're fun and colorful, and she can hear you. I can hear her responding to you right now, right? So she's in the background listening. And I feel like what she's going to do now, or what your technology will do now, is fill your feed with all these cool lights that you aren't in the market for anymore, but it'll cause you to think, oh, shoot, I could have spent $200 more and got a better this or that. And that is not cool. Like, let him enjoy what he just bought.
Right. So I feel like we've also all gotten used to ignoring those things. Like, those are just background things. Like, oh, now my feed is full of sunglasses. Yep. That's just how things go. And so we've conditioned ourselves to ignore that. But it also opens us up to the possibility that, like, that noise is impacting the way we think and stuff.
Sure.
And and behave.
Sure. And we haven't even talked about how that data is being used or shared or sold. Like, we'll skip that. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, we should probably move on for now because this is a rabbit hole
for us. You know what though? I love it because there really are some powerful benefits of AI. But probably what gets all the press is the scary negative stuff, right? But every now and then I run across a story, or even I use AI to make something a little bit easier for myself or what I'm working on. What we've got today in this episode is one of those stories where AI is being used in a very positive way in order to help patients and families, especially in the rare disease world. So I think it's great. And we start off with a little money grab from Alexa, and then we get into what Josh and his team is doing over at Sunstone Health. As a biomedical engineer, Josh's training and skills positioned him for a diagnosis he didn't see coming. His second child was needing to visit the ER way too frequently without ever getting real answers. His experience set him on a path to utilize his expertise to address shortcomings in healthcare in order to help families just like his. Today, he's the co-founder and CEO of Sunstone Health, a company that is leveraging AI to reduce the genetic disease patient odyssey from 7 years to 12 weeks. We recently got on the line with Josh and had an incredible, fantastic conversation. We trust that you'll enjoy hearing it as well. Super excited to have Josh on the line with us today. Josh, welcome to the Two Disabled Dudes podcast.
Thanks. I'm pretty excited to be here. It's great.
We're glad to have you. Give us some context as to why you're here. What is it that got you in to the rare disease space?
Like a lot of people in the rare disease space, I'm here because of one of my kids. I had been a scientist. I have 3 boys now, and it's my middle child who has a rare hyperinflammatory syndrome. I think most of us, we expect the healthcare system to be there for us and to take care of us no matter what happens. And that is unfortunately very much not the case. And so, like so many other people, I mean, I could list dozens of other moms and dads who have inspired me to take my journey. I just got really, really frustrated with the system and needed to try to make a change just for my family and for all the families behind me.
Well, of course, we're glad that people like you get inspired to do something different. So thank you. How old was your son when you guys found out or you began to see the system is broken? And what were you doing vocationally before you started to realize maybe there's a different direction in your life?
His name's Shiloh. He was about 18 months old when he had his first fever.
Wow.
And so he was born totally normal, like very, very easy birth. And he was a great eater. Like there was nothing that would have indicated that there was any kind of underlying condition. And so he had his first fever at 18 months. He had a second fever at 19 months. He had his third fever at 20 months. And it's called a periodic fever. It happens every month. The phenotype is that there's no middle ground for Shiloh when he gets sick. He's either at 98.6 or he's at 105.
Jeez.
It's scary. And so, it was probably like the 3rd or 4th month of going to the ER with a kid who's on fire, where I started to say, hey, why can't we do something more for my child? Like, why do we have to keep coming back here? Why does he have to keep going through this? And at the time, I was a bench scientist. I'm a biomedical engineer by training. So I was a research scientist at a place called the Wyss Institute at Harvard Med, working on what's called translational science. So we were actually trying to make things that would help patients in hospitals, right? New tests, new technology. I had a real optimistic view of how science and healthcare could take care of anything.
Yeah.
And that rug kind of got pulled out from underneath me as far as understanding what the limitations are that we all face today. So here we are.
I admire, and I think a lot of parents have that same, I feel like I do, we all do to a certain extent. We are honoring all the work that's been done before we came by doing the work that we do moving forward. And that's what makes our community, the rare disease community, so strong, is that people are so tight-knit that they really do want to honor the work that's come before them.
I couldn't agree more. There is an indelible bond amongst patients and families who have to be at the short end of the stick from the healthcare system, right? So, I call it like the best worst club to belong to. I have, for better or worse, had a really strong community grow over the last 6-7 years that I've been building this business. Everybody from Julia Vitarello and Casey McPherson to Effie Parks and Vicky Ortega and Justin West, like some of these big names that we see all over LinkedIn and all over socials, are people that you can meet for the first time at a conference, and you just instantly know that you're both on the same mission, you're both rowing in the same direction, and no matter, what the effort is, if it's patient advocacy, if it's new technology like mine, everyone's trying to make the system better. And I think there's a real shared purpose in that.
You said it's been 6 or 7 years, so I assume your Shiloh is 6 or no, I guess maybe 7 or 8
Now he's
today?
he's 10 now because
Wow.
it took about, so he started having the fevers at 18 months. And honestly, Sean, like, for the first few years, it's just trying to like figure out what the hell's going on.
Mhm.
You know what I
Work
mean?
your
Like,
ways up, yeah.
yeah. And so it took us about 3 years to get to through like 3 different pediatricians too, to get to somebody who was like, "Hey, I think he's got one of these periodic fevers," and you're like, "Oh, no way." Because one lady had read about it in a textbook one time back in med school, so she got to have her aha moment. Same doc had to be the one when I was like, "All right, well, great, we have an answer. Like, what do we do now?" And she's like, "Oh, nothing. There's
Uh,
nothing. There's nothing you're gonna do. No cure. Maybe there's like 500 kids in the States who have this thing, but we don't really know because no one studies it." You're like, "Oh, neat. This is great." That was both like the worst moment, but also it turns out like the corner that I needed to turn. And
Mm.
I was working with a guy at the biotech that had come out of Harvard that we worked on, and his wife has Ehlers-Danlos. His wife has a rare disease.
mm,
And so he was like, "Oh my God, dude, you have to speak to my wife. Like, she's been fighting this fight for years now, most of her adult life." And so she was my first bridge into the wider sort of rare disease community.
wow.
And then you start to meet other people and you start to learn, "Hey, oh, we're really not that rare, actually.
Yeah.
There's a lot more of us than anybody wants to believe." So we started the company, and we built technology, we ran a pilot, like we've been doing all of this for a while to become where we're at today, of really being able to help families really effectively.
Wow. Of course, that's part of the reason why we got connected. Somebody's sharing all about what you're doing at Sunstone Health. So let's turn that page. What are you doing? What is Sunstone Health all about? I think we've got a little glimpse of the why you're doing it, but can you tell us exactly what the company is doing?
As far as I know, we're the only real end-to-end solution that helps families. And so what I mean by that is Sunstone is effectively a voluntary benefit for employers that offer their employees health insurance. They're called self-funded employer plans, all right? And so what we do is we build AI tech, to go find patients inside of claims insurance data that look suspicious, look like they have a genetic underlying condition for why they're sick. All right. So we focus on kids. So like, do you have non-responsive epilepsy, right? Do you look like you're on the autism path? Those are the two things that we really focus on today as a market entry, but the technology can really find any kind of patient with any kind of genetic underlying condition. It was built originally for familial hypercholesterolemia. When we do that, we can find them very early in their journey, under the age of 3. And so we can then get them to what's called trio whole genome sequencing. So that's where we're going to sequence mom, dad, and child. That lets us look for de novo or hereditary mutations that could be causing the disease.
Mm,
And then with that information in our pocket, we can pull their clinical records with their consent, of course, build very, very detailed and technical and personal reports about the patient, and then surface that to an expert, a clinician who can give their guidance for that family.
wow.
So the net of that, Sean, is that, for rare disease kids, rare disease adults, takes about 7 years on average currently to go through the system, right? To go from
Sure.
first confusing symptom to a care path. We can do that same thing. Once mom and dad say yes to me, we can do that same thing in about 12 weeks for a family.
Incredible.
Thank
That's
you.
huge, especially for the rare disease world, where most of the time if you treat earlier, there's better outcomes, right? And so if you can cut that 7 years to 12 weeks, holy cow, that's saving so much quality of life basically
Oh my
for
God.
lots of kids and families.
7 years is a childhood. That's not like
Yeah.
time you can wait,
Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah.
the thing that was frustrating for me, Kyle, as an engineer is like, you can see all the solutions on the shelf, all the pieces of technology you need. And most of that 7 years is just waiting 9 months to go get in front of a specialist. Like, oh, the next time we can see you is in September. We know you have this life-threatening condition that you're worried about, but we can't see you for 9 more months. There's no new science about what we do. There's no new test you're going to have to take with us. We just take the last thing that you're going to hit on your escalation path of whole genome sequencing. We bring it right to the front. So instead of wasting all the time from all the little things, we just bring it to the front. The bigger unlock for us was creating the financial mechanism to let employers do the right things for their membership population. So I've convinced employers, hey, if you do this the right way, oh, your patients will get much healthier, trust me, but you will save a lot of money. And for better or worse,
Yep.
the saving the money part is the one that got the attention.
How many employers use this system right now?
Not enough.
All right.
We
Understood.
built it over the last 6 years, 7 years. We really just started selling to employers at the end of last year.
Okay.
So we have a few employers signed up, but we're already starting to talk to some Fortune 100, some Fortune 50 companies. We're talking to some carriers. It turns out that the problem is really well recognized and everybody actually is motivated to do something about it. I
Right.
think, honestly, most of the solutions that have come before us that have taken a stab at trying to solve this have not focused on the financial component as much. I don't fault anybody for that because that's
Right.
certainly not where I started. I started with the same argument of like, hey, this is the right thing to do for patients. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Oh, well, it turns out there's a whole lot of bad economic incentives for why you wouldn't want to do that. So that's where we really went and dug deep to make sure that we came up with a market solution that let us do the right thing for families.
You said all the ones that came before you, they didn't focus on the financial part. So can you explain the difference in your approach between what has come before and what you're doing?
Right now, there are lots of different vendors who will sell employers parts of what we do, right? There's people who will do genetic sequencing. There are people who will do predictive analytics. There are people who will do care management or navigation. But like nobody's put it all together into something that's really easy for the employer to go sign up for. All right. So now you have an employer, a benefits department, or an HR department and an employer. The chances of them having a technical background, a medical background, pretty slim, right? Like just generously, pretty slim. Really well-intentioned people, but you are now asking them to spend an extra amount of attention on a increasingly small subset of their patient population, their member population. Their big focus is the top 5, right? You got obesity, smoking cessation, diabetes, like cancer. These are the things that they're like, oh, I can make a big impact on most of my membership. So it's not that they don't want to do it or they don't believe the numbers, but you got to make it easy for them. So when we put
Okay.
everything together and I say, hey, don't pay me anything unless I'm helpful, right? Like just integrate me and I'm all upside for you. That's frankly on the commercial side of my business where people have been like, okay, yeah, no problem. Right. And it still takes effort. It still takes lots and lots of conversations and lots of sell and all that sort of stuff. I think for a lot of the other people who've tried to do this, there's this focus on selling through the doctors. And the limitation that you have there is that you're still waiting for an individual patient to go through the Plinko system of healthcare to find that doctor who knows about your solution. And then maybe you're reimbursed, maybe you're not. We just shortcut all around that. We sell right to employers as a benefit for their members. So the members never have to pay a dime. Your employer's going to cover the whole cost. So families that are already stressed out are not going to have another financial stress. They're not going to get hit with a bankruptcy level reimbursement, overage, right? Or whatever it's going to be. And so I think that I got to benefit because so many people had done it wrong beforehand that we got to say like, okay, not that way, not that way, not that way.
Yeah.
Sure.
Totally. And there's got to be a lot of gratitude, I feel like I hear you saying, for everyone who did it slightly wrong before, right? So you could learn from that and understand the shortcomings of all these different methods.
Well, this is the funny part about me being a scientist. When I came to solve this problem instead of a business person, as sort of my core DNA, people don't realize this about science, but science is really the practice or the art of learning how to fail over and over and over again, and then figuring out maybe like the next way to do it. The reality is that when I looked at it as a business case, seeing how all of the ways that it didn't work were just as informative to me to create the way that it will work as like coming up with a perfect business plan, right? Like we had to look at all the data that existed to show us the ways where the gaps were that we could really go fill into. And that's where we really focused. The family side is like a no-brainer, right? Like 90% of families I talk to, they say yes to me. That's the easy one.
Yeah. Do you happen to know, or have you heard or received feedback where it told you that you were on the right track? Whether that was a testimonial or somebody reached out and said, "Oh my gosh, this changed the game for me." Could you point to an example of where you realized you're onto something powerful here?
Yeah, I mean, we have examples and case studies that we use all the time. We talk about like a little girl who was being treated for recurring seizures. She's on all kinds of anti-epileptics. Turns out she had a biotinidase deficiency, right? Which is actually like a pretty straightforward thing to catch, but only if you have the option to get the genetics done in the first place. We were able to go in and she just needs biotin supplementation. She's 9, so there's a lot of other ancillary damage that has unfortunately been done. But all of a sudden you get peace of mind, you get some level of control back, right? So that's like one specific case. Then last November, we went out to Epilepsy Awareness Day at Disneyland in Anaheim. And we had families. We were out there providing free whole genome sequencing to kids who'd never been able to get it. That means a lot of people who weren't employed, right? Who are on Medicaid. Maybe mom or dad can't work anymore because they're at home taking care of a kid. And we had families there that had come across the country just to see us, just to get a free whole genome sequence. We had pediatric neurologists on site who'd never met us before, who started telling people to come over to us to get a whole genome sequence because it's the only way that they were going to be able to get that kind of information so they could make an informed decision. Honestly, Sean, if healthcare worked the way that we want it to, the way that we believe it to, I wouldn't have a business. But that's just not the case. This is very much a product, a service that would have benefited my family, that I would use. And what are there 30 million other families at a minimum in the US who this would benefit? So yeah, I have a lot of confidence that we're doing the right thing.
Wow. That's incredible. So going on site and offering the genome testing, was that the first time you did something like that?
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
I had become friendly with the organizers just over the years of just like other people, other warriors, other parents who'd had a kid, and they had started it, I think 12 years ago, and it was like 60 people that showed up the first year. I think this last year there were something like 8,000 people that came through. It's a free event for families. And I was like, hey, we want to come do this thing. He's like, oh my God, no one's ever done that. We've been trying to get somebody to do it forever. And the first day that we were there, no one really knew who we were, right? We're kind of like new kids in town. And so by the end of the first day, we had like a couple people who'd come and done it. By the end of the second day, and it was only a 2-day event, at the end of the day, there's literally a line down the alley of people waiting. Like, they're like, hey, can you do one more? Can you do one more? So,
wow.
Yeah, we're going to try to be back there every year. It's like such an easy way to give back to the community.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
No fault of their own, whether it is medical, whether it is I can't work because I'm caring full time for the child. You never know why people can't get access to a thing. And how amazing is it when people like you and other organizations are stepping up and saying, we want to help address that shortcoming. I love that story, and I can only imagine how rewarding it was for you and your team to see this unfold in real time.
Honestly, like fighting back tears a couple times while on site, just with some of the families and the stories that they're willing to share. And It's really I don't know. Rewarding sounds like so cheesy. It means everything to me to be working on something that has such impact for families. I don't know what people's background is. I don't know if you're a millionaire in front of me or if you're somebody who's struggling to make ends meet. Like, that doesn't matter. And it shouldn't matter for your access to healthcare. That's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit, man. So,
Agreed.
like, again, if people could get the care that they needed from whoever their provider was or their health insurance carrier was, my company wouldn't exist, and that'd be a great thing for all of us. But until that magical day happens, here we are.
You were a scientist at Harvard. Did you ever imagine that you would be in the insurance industry, basically? Like I don't know.
No way, man. I was at a very almost like a sci-fi research institute. Like, we were building things called organ chips. So it's like biology with microchips so that you can test drugs and different therapies on human tissue, but not in humans, so you can make better drugs. Like, I thought I'd probably do that kind of stuff forever, You never know where life's going to take you. No, I had no idea that I'd end up here ever. It was not on my radar whatsoever.
So what was the learning curve like? Like, how did you get up to speed? You just tackle each challenge as it comes? I mean, it sounds like you know a lot about how the insurance industry and the healthcare industry works. You weren't an expert in this area. How did that go as you dug deeper and uncovered all these challenges?
I mean, honestly, a lot of it's just a function of time and obviously effort, right? So once I knew that I was going to be focusing my attention on the space, I read everything I could. I tackled it just like a research project, right? Like, so I read every resource I could. I go to conferences and talk to people. I watch all the smart people. I mean, like, shout out to Dr. Bricker on A Healthcare Z. Like, that guy, everyone should watch him just to understand like how health insurance work and how the healthcare industry works. Have you ever heard the theory of 10,000 hours to become an expert at something?
Oh yeah, it's that Gladwell?
They might be. Yeah, I think it is. But so there's this idea that if you do something for 10,000 hours, then you have become a certified expert. And it's funny because if you back into that, that's about the time of grad school, right, to become a PhD. And so at this point, 6-7 years into it, I feel like I probably logged those 10,000 hours in the first 3 or 4 years, but there's still a lot I don't know, and
Right.
and I still learn pitfalls and potholes and traps in the healthcare system. And every time I think I know all the dirty little secrets, like I'll meet somebody and they'll tell me some other crazy messed up thing about how the system works, But you learn and you stack those learnings on top of each other and you pivot and you make it work until it's a system that works pretty well. And so a lot of trial by fire, a lot of really strong support from both investors and my family to let me take the time to do it. Hopefully it's going to pay off for us and for everybody else.
Josh, you says something every now and then, meet somebody and hear a crazy story and you realize there's some other deep, dark secrets about healthcare, especially in America. I'm wondering, would you be willing to tell us maybe just one thing that you've learned over the last 6-7 years that really blew your mind in terms of, I don't believe we do it this way? Is there something that you're like, that's silly?
Just one? Just
Yeah,
one?
just one. Just
Oh man, where to even begin? All right, here's one early one that really got my attention. When I first started the company, I'm like, all right, I know that I don't want to sell to families. Families are already burdened enough, and I don't want to sell. Although what's funny now is I get asked all the time by families, hey, could I just buy your product? I don't want to wait for my employer to. Can I just buy it directly? So that's a whole different thing. But I didn't originally want to sell to families. I didn't want to sell to doctors because I don't think that hospital systems are going to be the easiest to go deal with, right? I knew that like the people who had the financial incentive in it were insurance, all right? So I'm like, cool. I'm going to go save insurance a whole bunch of money. So I got a bunch of advisors, I meet a bunch of smart people, and I'm giving the pitch to one of my advisors who's got 50 patents, and he's sold a bunch of med tech stuff. He's like, so Josh, walk me through it. I'm like, all right, I've got this technology. It can find patients. We can move them faster. And then carriers save money, and he goes, well, that's where you're going to lose all your business. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, do you know what the MLR is? Do you guys know what the MLR is?
No.
Okay. MLR is the med loss ratio. It's basically the 15% profit cap that the ACA put onto commercial plans. All right. So those are your United, your Blues, your Aetna, all that stuff. You're only allowed to make 15% profit. Anything over that, you're supposed to return to your membership. So they work really, really, really hard to make sure they're maxing out that 15%. Right.
Sure.
So the only way that they can make 15% grow is to spend more money. You actually have to make the whole pie go. So if you're like, hey, I'm going to come in, I'm going to help you spend less money, they're like, oh, that's so great. But we're never going to buy you. Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
That is crazy, but it makes so much sense based on that rule. Like, that's so weird. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Wow.
So this like really well-intentioned idea from Obama of like, hey, we're gonna like you shouldn't make money off of people's health. But now it's created this wholly inverted incentive to not actually save money on a yearly basis. That was one of the first ones where I was like, are you effing kidding me?
Wow.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And then it feels like, every couple months I just get hit with some other truth bomb like that.
Crazy.
Where I'm like, oh, there's no way this is gonna work because pharmacy benefit managers, they make all their money on rebate. Like you could pick a million things. It is not a great system that we have.
Yeah, I believe that. I don't even know a percent of it. Oh, wow. Josh, is there anything listeners can do to either support what Sunstone Health is doing or follow up? Like, what can listeners do to champion what you guys are doing?
The best thing for us, for Sunstone, is if you believe that your child has a developmental delay and you want us to come be able to help you, go talk to your benefits department. Send your HR people or your benefits people to my website and tell them to come take a 10-minute conversation with me, and I'll get them enrolled. We really want to be able to provide this kind of help. We do it today through employers as an employer benefit. For people who don't want to wait, and there's a surprising amount of them, or maybe not surprising, just given the sort of state of the world. But we are working on that as well. And so if you want, just come on to sunstonehealth.com, sign up for our newsletter. We send it out about once a month, just with general updates, success stories, that kind of thing. And we'll keep you up to date about when basically like a direct-to-consumer option is open.
Very cool. Before we wrap up, I would love to go back to your family life, if you're okay with that.
It's okay.
Give us an idea of what life is like for at home, whether it's with Shiloh or, the whole family. What does the family life of Josh look like today?
We have a lot of fun. I have 3 boys. My older one is like a D&D kid. My youngest one is like a total rascal, right? So like we kind of spread.
Pilot. D&D is Dungeons and Dragons. In case you
Oh, thank you.
Josh, we're old and we
Appreciate that.
don't have kids, so.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So
Oh, anyway, sorry, I cut you off for the sake of a joke.
we've got it's like a Dungeons and Dragons and like robotics club, all the way down to like riding bikes and jumping out of trees. So we have a good time. Shai is doing well by all accounts. We have a lot of like inflammation related joint pain and rashes and things that we're still on our diagnostic odyssey. Even though we got a presumptive diagnosis, we're still responding to new symptoms all the time. And so we're still going from specialist to specialist, and that has its own level of frustration for us as his parents and for him, obviously. We're thankful for everything that we have, and I think we're doing pretty well. I appreciate you asking.
Love that. You said you were thankful for everything you have, so I'm going to put you on the spot one more time before we go. What is something in your life, whether it's family, career, whatever, something you're most proud of?
I mean, probably just my family, honestly. I don't know if pride's the right word. I'm really happy that I get to work on something that I think has meaning. There's lots of ways to make money in this world, right? Like, and I'm pretty good at math, so I could have gone to Wall Street if I wanted to.
Sure.
No, honestly, it feels like we've done this work now for hundreds of families. I really think that we're going to have an amazing road in front of us that's ideally hopeful and full of success for 1 million families. But at the end of the day, me and my team, who I could not have done this without, have really done something impactful. And I as much stress as there is about trying to build a business, I know that we have done something that has made a significant change, a positive change for the people that we've been able to help. And that, I don't know that you could that feels amazing. That feels like a real, I'm very, very thankful for that.
Your time on Earth is well spent, like you have a purpose. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's an amazing thing.
So I was raised Jewish. We don't practice or anything now, but there's an old adage in Judaism called tikkun olam, which literally means to heal the world. So the idea was that the world was shattered into 1,000 pieces at creation, and the best thing that you could do on this earth is to get one little piece glued back in. And I learned that when I was a kid, and that it was really just a source of inspiration that's never left me. And so I like that. I think it would be better if all of us knew that in whatever form or format it looked like.
Well, Josh, I have thoroughly enjoyed hearing your perspective and your journey, and even more than hearing about it, seeing and knowing that you have dedicated your skill, your talent, your passion to fixing the broken glass and to make it a better place for everybody, especially families impacted by rare conditions. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing and doing what you do.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate the platform. It's great to meet you guys, and really fun conversation, honestly.
Thanks, Josh. Sean, I feel like we all hear the call every once in a while, whether we recognize it or not, from our purpose to do something that makes a big difference in the world. And it's up to us to hear that call and react. And I really respect all the people like Josh that have responded to make the world a better place for lots of people.
And responded with a lot of energy and time and effort, bringing together his friends, his family, resources to say, hey, here's the problem. I think I can help address it. Will you help me? And they have spent, like you said, 6-7 years building something that's going to have an incredible impact on probably generations to come.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I love hearing that, and I find it incredibly encouraging. It motivates me to do what I can to help other people. Well, like we did with him, put him on the spot. He shared some gratitude, Kyle, and as our listeners know, we like to wrap up every episode with a note of gratitude, or what we call thank you notes. We recognize that gratitude helps us stay grounded and appreciate even the small things in life. So I'll give you the chance to go first. Who is your thank you note going out to today?
I want to thank the new generation of the FA community. We are not the new generation anymore, Sean. It makes a lot of us nervous to think about, oh no, who's going to take the torch to the next level? Who's going to continue on, raise money for research, encourage other people, foster the new generation, because it's a continuous thing. But there are people that are coming forward, especially right now this year, that are just doing amazing work. And they're hearing that call like we talked about just a second ago, and they're going, all right, I have the skills and I have the passion. I know the groundwork that has been laid for me, and I want to respect that and do as much as I can for the community. We have a lot of those people right now. I am so grateful for all those people, and I'm excited to see what the next level for the FA community is.
That is encouraging to see and hear, and you're right, kind of helps put a few things at ease when you realize
Yeah.
things are gonna change, it's only a matter of time. Well, Kyle, my thinking note is going out to people that have been supporting and donating to my climb up the world's longest stairway. We've talked about it a few times, but the Neeson Stairway climb is in July, so it's right around the corner. And my team has set out to raise a lot of money, and we've been working hard to do that and to share the vision and the purpose of Determinate. And I've had a lot of people follow along the journey, videos, likes, comments online. And in addition, they're sharing the message and donating when possible. So I just wanted to say thank you to those folks. Some are listeners, some are family, some just, randomly found information. But I'm really grateful that every dollar counts toward our big goal of $50,000. So thank you to those supporters.
Yeah, I've been watching the fundraising efforts of your team from the outside, and I'm so grateful also for all of the teammates that are reaching out. You see the donations come in, and it's only because you and your team are putting in so much effort to, first of all, get this trip done. Second of all, to raise money for a really important cause of helping other people do this kind of stuff.
Of course, a big thank you to Josh for joining us today. Not only that, but for spending his energy and passion into something that's going to help a lot of families. We encourage you to check out our show notes at twodisableddudes.com, where you can find some of the links mentioned today. If you're enjoying this show, please share it with a friend. Be sure to like and subscribe. Of course, you can always leave a review. We love those, and they go a long way in supporting our podcast. Of course, thank you for listening today. We look forward to chatting at you again soon. Until next time, keep living with urgency.
Thank you for listening to the Two Disabled Dudes podcast. This show is possible with your support. Visit twodisableddudes.com to stay connected.
Find us on Facebook and Instagram. And be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast player.